Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, y'all, we are watching The Robbing of America by Black Immigrants. It's a movie with a cast of international characters, all Black, that never ends. One day we're hearing about the Somalis, the next day we're hearing about the Haitians, then we're hearing about the Nigerians, and these are the largest groups here. Now, let me see if I can find something on the Jamaicans real quick. Yep, Jamaicans are present and on time. They have their scam game on, just like the Haitians and the Somalis, the Nigerians, and probably any other African group or Caribbean group that I decided to check into. But I've decided to stick with the big four because they are the largest Black immigrant groups to the United States. Let them tell it, they are model minorities. Let them tell it, they are hardworking and they are good citizens and they obey the law and they are better citizens than those Black Americans. Let them tell it. But when you listen to the FBI, U.S. Marshals, the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, and anybody else in law enforcement, they tell a different story. So I'm going to let you look at some of the great scam artists across the African diaspora and the work that they've done. I don't know what makes them think they're so smart. You're not smart in your own homeland. You sure as hell won't be smart here. But they think they can get away with it. Everybody thinks they can get away with it. And this is why. It's kind of easy to do because in America, there's always a lot of money floating around. And it looks easy when you're in one of these positions where you can just create some kind of a fake business and then get money. It looks easy on the surface. But I have said this before, and I'll say it again. My husband says if you steal money from the United States of America, you have 8 years to cover your tracks and get out of town. You might get caught before those 8 years, but by the time those 8 years are up, you're going to get caught. So I'm going to show you some of these smart ass Alex who thought they could rob the United States government, shake the United States down like an ATM machine and get away with it. So let's start with the Haitians. Let's see what they were able to scam the United States government out of.
These Haitians, this scam snapped out of $7 million. And it wasn't only them, it was a community of Haitians. These two Haitians owned two stores that was side by side. They weren't no more than 120 square feet. So all these SNAP redemption transactions sent red alerts to the databases. So SNAP sent, USDA sent one of their agents to study this store. And they compared the store to several other supermarkets in the area. So that store was only 120 square feet. They compared it to stores that was anywhere from 20,000 square feet to 60,000 square feet. And they monitored the SNAP redemption transactions. So out of all these 7 supermarkets, their daily transactions was like $44. 10% of their transactions were maybe $90 and up. But when it comes to these two Haitian stores, which is only 120 square feet, their transactions, their SNAP redemption transactions were averaged to $200 plus. And they had people coming from out of state to Mattapan, Massachusetts, coming from Florida, coming from New York, doing like 2,000, 3,000 SNAP transactions. So basically, they were buying SNAP benefits from the SNAP recipients and redeeming them as cash with the government. Now they caught up. This is going to, I'm telling y'all, SNAP benefits is about to become more strict. They're going to become stricter on releasing SNAP benefits to people because there's too many scams like this going on. There's too many scams, and it's all going to fall back on the American people that really need it.
So these Haitians were able to scam $7 million out of SNAP benefits. So that's a lot of scamming going on with the Haitians. So let's move on to the Nigerians.
A 40-year-old man, Oluwaseun Adekoya, has just been jailed in the US for being the mastermind of a bank fraud and money laundering network that wreaked havoc across the United States. Adekoya's scheme was simple but devastating. From the comfort of his home, he spent years collecting information about homeowners with access to big loans. Information like social security numbers, account numbers, mothers' maiden names, and everything needed to pretend to be the real homeowner. Once he had the details, he built a team. He recruited managers from different states, handed them fake driver's licenses, and directed them on how to withdraw money from innocent people's accounts. He made over $2 million from this scheme. To hide himself, Adekoya used burner phones, fake accounts, and even other people's bank accounts to move the stolen money. But everything began to fall apart in May 2022 when a credit union in New York noticed strange withdrawal attempts. They alerted the FBI. That became the beginning of the end. Investigators traced the pattern across country and eventually connected everything back to Adekoya. One by one, the people working with him were arrested, and 13 of them pleaded guilty. On December 12, 2023, the FBI finally moved in and arrested Adekoya. He tried to wipe his phone, but it was too late. The police found enough evidence to charge him to court. Eventually, in court, Adekoya was sentenced to 20 years in prison. He was also ordered to pay back $2.2 million in restitution. Upon completion of his jail term, he will be deported back to Nigeria. That's how the long and flashy run of Oluwaseun Adekoya came to an end. 2 decades behind bars. Please stay away from crime.
There are so many videos about Nigerian scammers that I just decided to do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick one. And this is one I picked. So next up, Jamaicans.
66-count indictment related to lottery scamming activities.
So we really want to be clear to everyone here in Jamaica, both the law-abiding citizens and the lotto scammers, that this is just the first step in a multi-pronged, multi-year effort to ensure that these criminal scourge is taken care of. This is a joint operation between CTOC, MOCA, and a wide variety of U.S. federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI.
Members of the Fugitive Apprehension Team, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Postal Inspectors, and the JCF each played a role in the processing of the named individuals. Police Constable Jason Jahalal, Alric McLeod, Anil Brown, Kimberly Hudson, Dario Palmer, Janu Ann Morgan, Dahlia Hunter, and her son Kazray Gray.
For these alleged criminals, they have been charged with a conspiracy to defraud over $5 million from America's most vulnerable citizens, and we are 100% confident that they're going to be spending decades in jail.
The U.S. authorities have enjoyed a 100% conviction rate of all of those who have been extradited under the advance fee or lottery scamming laws. And according to Joshua Polachek, there are many more to come.
I guess the Jamaicans didn't want to be left out of the scamming business, so they're on their way to jail too. And last but not least, the Somalis. If we were going to give out an award for the biggest scammers in the United States from the African diaspora, it would go to the Somalis.
The Somali fraud scheme in Minnesota is so deep and so complex, even CBS News did a deep dive report on it. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk a little bit more about the Somali fraud scheme in Minnesota. Specifically, the Minneapolis area is where a lot of the fraud activity is happening, but it's happening all over the region. You got them in Wisconsin, you got them here, there, everywhere. It's not just Ilhan Omar. It's not just a few people in an indictment. It is a culture of scamming that is specific to the Somali community. Now, before I continue, not all Somalis do this. I understand that. You got regular, everyday, hardworking Somalis in Minnesota and all over the United States just doing their thing. However, there is a really big chance that you're going to be a scammer if you are Somali and you're in Minneapolis specifically. Did you know that Minnesota is number one when it comes to welfare benefits? Did you know that 82% of Somali households in Minneapolis are on some kind of welfare? Now, before I go any further, let's get straight into it. This is going to be Good Morning America with Gail King. Shout out to her. Then we're going to get to a few more videos of other people saying similar things, but from different perspectives. And of course, I will link to this video and everything else in the description box. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Exclusive details this morning of how people in Minnesota spend hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on luxury cars and real estate. Now, this money was stolen apparently from programs that provided services to poor children. Many of the accused are Somali Americans, a fact that President Trump has used to criticize the broader community in general.
A honeymoon in the Maldives, a fleet of luxury cars. Here's a box with more than $270,000 in cash. This was all evidence from a new trove of files obtained exclusively by CBS News, showing how a group of convicted Minnesota fraudsters spent taxpayer dollars.
And so it goes. It seems that of all of the scammers, the Somalis are the greatest, and they're the ones that claim to be the biggest. They don't call themselves Christians, but they're Muslims. Let them tell it. They are devout Muslims, and they obey the law, and they're all about righteousness. And they're up there in Minnesota doing more scamming than anybody. So this is what you have. People coming here trying to talk down to Black Americans and trying to elevate themselves and put themselves on a pedestal. And they're worse criminals than we will ever be. Scamming, trying to beat their way. That's what it comes down to. Coming here to try to beat their way. 80-something% of Somalis in Minnesota on welfare. That is outrageous. But anyway, y'all, let's just keep watching this movie and see what happens. All they're doing is dooming themselves, and they're making it more and more difficult for their people to migrate to the United States. Donald Trump is clamping down on them, going and coming. Now, I believe that these people would rather be in jail in the United States than to be deported back to their homeland. Because being in jail in the United States is probably a luxury compared to being in jail in their homelands. But anyway, it seems like they're all headed to jail, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Many more of them will be going, and we will continue to watch this movie. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video, and have a good evening.